What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Monday, July 14th, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. Her name is Maggie Weaver. She is a news reporter based out of now Nashville, Tennessee. But she has been a news reporter for the past few years, and we're going to talk to her about her why of getting on into the journalism industry. So, without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Maggie Weaver.
Hi, Chris.
Hello
Thank you so
there. How
much
you
for having
doing?
me on. I'm doing wonderful.
You look absolutely amazing. I mean, that might be an understatement too, but you look absolutely amazing right now.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you on. I want to say thank you for coming on to my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. And I want to ask you, how has your first 5 days been at your new station, and how was your weekend as well?
Well, thank you. It's been wonderful. It has been, and we can talk about this a bit later if you want to, but the
Sure.
transition from one market to another, one job to another, it can be overwhelming at times, but I have enjoyed every bit of it.
I love that. I love that. Now, Maggie, I do my background research on every guest that I have on here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. Obviously, you did anchoring, and you've also did reporting. Your first stop was in Chattanooga. Some of the stories that you did was amazing. I remember
Thank
there
you.
was a story that you did. You're welcome. That you were feeding a goat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, you were feeding a goat, which was pretty cool. There was another story where I don't know how you kept your composure. It was windy as hell, and your hair was going all over the place, and you were still reporting like nothing was happening or going on, but the wind was just taking your hair in all different directions. I
Oh,
think that was
yes.
pretty cool too. Um, the story that stuck out though to me that I saw that you did was the one where the guy died in the firehouse. That story did stick out. I was like, wow, with the gunshots, if you remember that story. Talk to
Yes.
me about doing those. I mean, those three I mentioned, but talk to me real quick about doing those stories, those type of stories, and the versatility that you showed doing those stories.
Well, thank you. I think that versatility is super important. I mean, as a reporter, you're kind of asked to be a little bit of an expert in everything.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never know what you're going to be covering for the day. And so, being willing to pitch something, but then, maybe your management has a different idea for you,
Sure.
being able to be flexible. So depending on, what's most important for our viewers to hear that day, you've got
Hmm.
to be willing to jump in and do whether it's a lighthearted story, whether it's something more serious. Um, for instance, there's been multiple times where you're going one direction, you're heading, east on I-24, whatever it is, you're
Yep.
heading, you're going south on 75, and then the direction changes, and it's like, we need you to go here. This is the breaking news. With that incident, where it was actually a man that there's a SWAT situation going on where he died in the house fire.
Right.
He had barricaded himself inside the house, and somehow, and there's still, of course, some unanswered questions about
Wow.
exactly how the fire started.
Sure.
Um, but in that scenario, we were headed somewhere completely different. Then we hear about this happening, and it's like, okay, switching gears, you've got to be willing to, very get there very quickly, but then talk to the neighbors in the area, make sure that you're, speaking to all the authorities that are on scene. Um, and, really figuring out, okay, how did this happen? Asking all the questions. And when you're asking those questions, what do our viewers want to know? What am I
Absolutely.
curious about? So that's a big thing about versatility. Some days it's, hey, there's goats on this island. They're eating the vegetation and, cleaning up
Right.
invasive species. And we're going to send you there and we want you to feed some goats. And I'm like, yes, put me in. Let's do it. So the versatility is very important because the viewers need a range of things of, what's happening in their area. It's important to see all of it.
Absolutely, no question. And I want to dive into the reason why I wanted to have you on my podcast, and that's because obviously you being a news reporter, me being a sports journalist, I've been in this industry for about 7 years now, freelance as well. But I've worked in different publications as well. I love talking to different reporters. Obviously, you do a fantastic job, whether it's anchoring or whether it's
Thank
on
you.
the street reporting, doesn't matter. You do a great job. And I love hearing about your why and your stories because we're so used to getting stories, Maggie, that we don't get a chance to tell our story. And our stories are definitely different, right? Everybody's story is different of how they got into this industry. And I'm sure you've met some colleagues there, and you've heard how
Oh,
they've
yes.
gotten into the industry as well. And your story is just as special as anyone else. So that's why I wanted to have you on here, and this is a real treat to be able to talk to you this morning. It really is. But to say that, I want to get to my first official question, and that is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Uh, were there any inspirations, any aspirations growing up, um, wanting to be a journalist? But ultimately, why did you select the journalism industry as a career?
Well, thank you. It's a really cool thing that you're doing, first of all. I mean, to
Thank you.
have people tell their stories, because I think that there's a lot of young people out there that are very curious, that have aspirations too. And like you said, everyone's story is different. They
Yeah,
take a different path to get here. I think the short of it, my why is, and we'll go into the long, but the short is raw storytelling is important to me. And I think it's important for people to stay informed. The
yeah,
long of it, how I got here, is kind of a twisting, turning story. But
I
like you
love
said,
it. That's right.
everyone's story is different. So
Yeah,
I started in theater. I was a theater girl, and that's storytelling. And I knew I loved storytelling, but obviously theater sometimes is, depending on the work that you're performing and the story that you're telling is either fiction, sometimes a little bit of nonfiction, but it's exaggerated. It's taking something, a story that's been written by somebody and then performing it out for entertainment. Theater was something that I pursued in college first, and I quickly realized that raw, real storytelling was more so what I had a passion for. And
sure.
so we switched gears. And so I want anybody out there who's listening to know, if you start college doing one thing and then you suddenly have a aha moment of, you know what, I think I would rather do this, it's never too late. Take that chance, jump into what you love.
Absolutely.
Always worth exploring. And so I started with communication and still finished out my theater degree, still love theater, still, that's a hobby that I'll keep pursuing. But
Absolutely.
raw storytelling, it's kind of it's different. You're looking at real life scenarios, real people's stories, and oftentimes there's stories that people who don't have a voice, you're kind of giving them that voice to then, be able to inform people who may relate to that, who, may need to know what's going on in their community. It's all about community and storytelling. So that kind of raw storytelling really appealed to me. Graduated
Okay.
college with the two majors, theater and communications, but was wholeheartedly pursuing communications and journalism.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of the why. It's been incredible to hear those real stories and to be able to give them a platform to be heard.
Absolutely. This is a job where, for me personally, like you said, just giving a platform to tell those real stories. Storytelling is just a beautiful thing to do. I love it because being a pillar in your community, being an advocate for the people, a voice for the voiceless. We hear a lot of those phrases sometimes, but it's also a job that you do something different every day. It's
Oh,
never a
yes.
job that's 2 days are the same, right? You have different stories that you report on, different things that you do, whether it's hard news or soft news. Like you said, one day you could be feeding goats, the next day you could be at a house fire. And it's the same way with sports. Sports games, no two games are ever the same. You always have different games, different athletes to talk to, and that's what I love about this job. I love the fact that you do something different every day. Because me personally, Maggie, I don't know if I can sit at a 9 to 5 desk Monday through Friday. I think
I
I'll be bored out of my
understand.
mind. Yes, absolutely, I'll be bored out of my mind for sure. I want to ask you this question because you went to the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. I want to know, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going there?
That's a great question. Well, like I said, I started in theater. So I
Mhm.
applied, when I started applying to colleges, I was looking everywhere. I mean, I probably applied to 30 plus colleges, which is not everybody does that. Some people only apply to a couple, and I said,
Right,
I want to keep my options open. Um,
right.
I obviously theater, there's a bit of competitiveness in that world. And so I considered Belmont in Middle Tennessee and Nashville,
Yep.
Columbia College Chicago. I applied to Tisch School for the Arts in New York. Like you name it, I probably applied there.
Okay.
I think that as far as being able to go, or how do I say this? So, as far as why I made the choice, it was Chattanooga. That is, Chattanooga is still in Tennessee. I'm from
Yep.
Tennessee, born and raised. I wanted to have a little bit of time, obviously college is a time where you're becoming an adult, learning to go out on your own without your
Right.
parents.
Right.
And I wanted to have a little bit of distance between me and my family to do that. But
Sure.
also I didn't want to be a flight away. I wanted to be within driving distance. And honestly, I just love Tennessee. So even considering, some of those options, but also price goes into that as far as colleges and how much scholarship money you're going to get. UTC offered me a full ride scholarship pretty much. And
Oh
so,
wow. Okay.
to be able to walk out of college at the end of all of this and say, wow, okay, I don't have to worry about paying back student loans. That's a big deciding factor. But their
Absolutely.
theater program was great. And somehow, when I made that transition from theater to communications, I was blessed that UTC had one of the best communications departments. And I learned so much. Like, I would not go back and pick anywhere else. I loved my time in Chattanooga.
Hmm.
It could have been different though. Maybe if I had started my career, looking at colleges based on communications first, there could have been some differences, but would I want
Sure.
to go back and change it? No.
Absolutely not. Right. And I love the fact that you said that you're from Tennessee. Tennessee's such a great state. Have a
Thank you.
lot of love for Tennessee. Obviously, me going to school in Atlanta, Georgia, Chattanooga is only a couple hours away. Nashville was only 3.5 hours away. So that's where you are now. I love
Yes.
the city of Nashville, which we will get into that a little bit later on for sure. No question about that. Bonus question is, I'm a huge theater buff too. I love theater. I love plays and musicals,
Yes.
preferably. Give me your top three musicals.
Oh, that is so difficult. That might be the toughest question you've asked me today. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm a big Hamilton girl. I think that when you obviously there's lots of ways to watch theater,
Yeah.
but being a theater girl, I prefer to watch it live. So
Yeah.
from the list that I'm going to give you, I'm only going to give you the ones that I've seen live because
Okay.
I think that that's appropriate here. I did get to see Hamilton, wonderful experience with my mom and my sister and my dad getting to go. Beautiful show, genius
Yeah.
writing, obviously.
Absolutely.
Hamilton
Absolutely.
is way up there. Also, let's see, I did get to see Phantom of the Opera. Um,
Okay.
and also just so you know, so I grew up near Memphis. So we had the beautiful
Oh.
Orpheum Theater. And if you're not familiar with the Orpheum, it's a very historic theater that they
Yep.
have renovated, but it has this beautiful like chandelier in the center. And if you know Phantom of the Opera, one of the huge centerpieces and kind of motifs in the story is this big chandelier. And so they were able to use a prop that was, already installed in that theater and bring it into the set of the show. And
Wow.
so
Okay.
it was wonderful. And obviously the music is something that's a classic, so I love that. And then
Sure.
lastly, let's see. I've said a lot of musicals. There was a beautiful show called Finding Neverland that
Okay.
was based off of the original writings of the story of Wendy and Peter Pan. So not the Disney version that we know, but
Right.
a little bit of a more mature version and has wonderful music as well. So those are my top three.
Okay. I like that. I like that. It's a solid top three that you got there.
Thanks.
I would definitely say if I had to pick three, I would say definitely Wicked. No question
Oh,
about it.
yes.
Definitely, and I'm gonna go see two when that comes out. Um Hamilton as well. Lin Manuel did so
Oh,
good with the
yes.
writing on that. No question about that. And Hairspray, probably my favorite play is Hairspray. No question about that. So I
Love
love
it.
those three. But there's so many honorable mentions. You know, when you get them down to three, I mean, there's Rent, there's Annie, there's Mamma Mia, there's West Side Story. I even call The Greatest Showman a musical
Yes.
as well. So yes, absolutely. There's so many of them, and I'm a huge musical buff. There's no question. And when I come back there to Nashville, we might have to check one out. We might have to do
Oh,
that, man.
definitely.
I would love
They've
that.
got TPAC here. They do some
Okay,
phenomenal shows. And
I
so
love
I'm a fan of every single one that you just mentioned. Like I said,
that.
it's so
Okay,
hard to pick.
I love that. That's what's up. That is awesome. Okay, let's get into some favorite questions here. So I'm going to ask you some favorite questions, and you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon some of those favorite questions. Okay, so here we
Perfect.
go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
I do like to cook. Okay, I'm a big potato girl, so if you cook anything potato, I cook anything potato, I'll eat it. So, favorite food in general, I mean, it could be sweet potato casserole, it could be
Mm.
baked potato. I don't know what it is, but potatoes all the way.
Do you like cheesy potatoes?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, got you. Okay, I got you. I'm a huge taco person, so I love me some tacos.
Oh, yeah,
I'm huge into pasta as well, so I can definitely whip up some pasta. It got to be simple. Got to be very
that's right.
simple because I'm not a great cook, but I do have to eat, so I got to cook a little bit. That's for
I
sure.
believe you, yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. That's awesome. All right. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Oh, okay. I went to an Ed Sheeran concert and
Wow.
I know I actually recently had someone tell me, I don't think I've ever met anyone that their favorite artist is Ed Sheeran. Here's why I'll tell you that he was my favorite concert. The
Okay.
performance that he put on was phenomenal. Obviously, he's a talented songwriter. He's written some more catchy stuff recently, but at his shows, he has a loop pedal and he builds his songs on stage for you in real time. So he'll play like a couple notes on his guitar and then he'll loop it. And then he'll go over to the piano and play those notes. And he kind of builds the songs from scratch and then
Wow.
starts singing. It was the coolest show.
Okay, I like that. Ed Sheeran. I would say The Weeknd is probably my favorite,
Okay.
which I'm actually going to be coming to Nashville to see him. He's coming August 12th. So I'm going to visit my mom, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm going to go see The Weeknd at Nissan Stadium at August 12th. So yes.
Oh, you're gonna have a blast. That's
Yes,
great.
I'm looking forward to that for sure. No question about that. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Oh, wow. Okay, so my fun fact, my family, big travelers. We were blessed with that, but my mom actually owned a travel agency for the longest time. So we've gone to some crazy places, just beautiful places. Um, we went to Canada and did like Banff National Park,
Okay.
kind of trickled down into Wyoming. But I would say that my favorite place I've ever been is Norway. I have never seen mountains so large in my life. And,
Okay.
East Tennessee has some mountains. You're in the Smokies, you've got Knoxville and Pigeon Forge and all that,
Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg.
Absolutely. Yes.
But the But the Norwegian mountains, totally different. I mean, I've never seen anything so big. And the rolling hills and they have
Mm.
goats and llamas running around everywhere. It was a cool experience. So I would say Norway.
That's definitely going on the bucket list, Maggie. I've never been to Norway for sure, and I just got my passport last year, so I'm looking to travel all different kind of places. I love going to places. Jamaica would be my favorite, no question about
Right.
it. Going there, it is hot, but the beach was great, the food was great, the people was great. It's great scenery. So if you ever been, I don't know if you've been to Jamaica or not, but put that on your bucket list for sure.
I've been. The water there is so crystal, like a teal blue. Oh, it's beautiful. Great place.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Okay, I'm with you on that. Now, I'm a sports person, so I got to ask you a sports question, and that is
Yes.
favorite sport that you like to watch on TV, but also favorite sport that you like to attend in person. They could be the same sport.
Okay. Basketball is probably one of my favorites. My husband's a huge UK fan, so go Cats.
Mhm.
But I really just recently, this past, March Madness and everything, got into basketball. So we went and saw the Cats play Tennessee in person at Rupp Arena in Kentucky. Phenomenal experience in person, and I love watching on TV. I'm also a football girl. I like football. Fall is a great time of year, and
Yes, it
it
is.
kind of feels, if you don't have fall football, then it feels weird. So fall football, but of course, like spring basketball, love it all.
I'm a huge basketball is probably my favorite sport. So definitely seeing basketball in person is something. I actually have that on my bucket list to go to Rupp Arena
Yeah.
because it's one of the blue bloods, and I love going to historic arenas and love, like I said, traveling again. Football, there's nothing like SEC football. You're in the South.
Oh, yes.
There's nothing like it. There's no question about it. I've been to a lot of UGA games, going to college out in Atlanta, Georgia. That's only an hour away in Athens, Georgia. And I've also been to University of Tennessee, where they sing
Yes.
Rocky Top all the doggone time.
Oh, they do.
Anytime you go to Neyland Stadium, they be singing Rocky Top for sure.
Oh, for sure. Now listen,
Mhm.
I'm from Tennessee, and I've been here my whole life. I've
Mhm.
got family that's big UT fans, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't say they're my number one. And that
I got you.
surprises a lot of people. I love Ole Miss, University of Mississippi,
Okay.
and I love Kentucky. Obviously, getting into that Kentucky basketball love for my husband, but it has been,
Mm.
it's kind of weird when I mention, hey, I'm from Tennessee, but I'm not a diehard wearing orange and white Vols fan. So
Well, you listen. I would say this: you're a very good wife, and listen, and shout out to your husband for liking a great basketball team in Kentucky.
that's
No
right.
question about that. And you do, and listen, you do look good in blue too. Blue and white
Thank
looks a
you.
lot better than orange and white. I will tell you that right now.
That's
That's for
right.
sure. That's for sure. Okay, I like that. That's pretty cool. Last of the favorites. Been to Nashville so many times. Been to all around Tennessee, but I would love to know what is your favorite restaurant to eat at? 'Cause I'm a huge foodie.
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of hard because I'll tell you, I originally grew up in Nashville, but like young age. It was like first grade kindergarten, that era of my life. My dad's from this area. But then we made the move to West Tennessee out near Memphis, like I mentioned. Did that through high school and then obviously moved to East Tennessee, Chattanooga for college and my first job in this career.
Yep.
So when I moved to Nashville, I've only been here now for like a week and a half, and it's been great to be able to kind of explore the area. Do I have a favorite restaurant just yet? I don't know, but I can tell you my favorite place I've eaten in the last week and a half.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so there's a little tiny kind of restaurant out on the river in the Gallatin, Hendersonville area. It's called Awadaddy's, Awedadddy apostrophe S.
Absolutely. Yep.
They had the best fried catfish. I'm a Southern girl. I love some fried catfish and hush puppies and
Mhm.
coleslaw, and it was phenomenal. It's out right on like the lake area, and so they had live music. There's live music everywhere in Nashville, but they had great
Yes, it is.
music and some of the best catfish. So that's my favorite place I've eaten in the last week and a half, I'll tell you.
Definitely know about All Daddies. To be honest with
Okay.
you, I've never had coleslaw though. Never had coleslaw in my
Okay.
life. Um, which is crazy. But still in all, maybe one day, Maggie. Maybe one day I'll
It,
try it.
here's the thing. Get some like regular coleslaw, but then you have to like try, I don't know if you've heard it, but it's famous, Tennessee hot slaw.
No, I have
If
not
you
heard that.
like anything spicy, like a little bit of spice, I do. It is one of my favorite things ever. So if you go to a place that sells Tennessee hot slaw, you got to try it.
Okay. There was a place there in Nashville that's very famous for their grilled cheeses.
Yes.
It's a sandwich place, and then obviously I'm a huge. I don't eat a lot of fast food anymore. Try to cut that down. But when I do, Jack in the Box is probably my favorite restaurant of probably all
There you
time. I,
go.
I I love me some Jack in the Box. But yes. Bonus question. Tootsie's is my favorite bar there in Nashville, which is
Okay.
right across the street from Bridgestone Arena. And they have a slew of bars across the Bridgestone Arena where pretty much all the live music at night, that Fifth and Broadway is a vibe at night, no question
Oh,
about it.
yes.
What is your favorite bar?
That's a great question too. So actually, I'll tell you, on the 4th of July, my husband and I both had off. So we had our family 4th of July celebration, and then we decided to go watch the fireworks downtown. And I'll tell you, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're crazy for going down there. It's going to be jam-packed. Is it going to be safe?" I'll
Right.
tell you, we showed up and, we didn't drive. We just wanted to get an Uber. It's parking is a nightmare there. And,
Yes, it is.
we're like, we'll get an Uber. So we Ubered down there. Of course, like walked over to where the family friendly event was going on, but also it linked to Broadway. I think it was Dirk Bentley was performing on Broadway that night. So it was,
Wow.
it wasn't as packed as I thought it would be. It felt very secure and safe. They actually had security, like metal detectors that you had to walk through to get into
Yeah.
that area. And so I was so surprised and felt so safe the whole night. And so I hadn't ever really done any of the bars on Broadway, but we did that night. And just to go look, we looked at Jelly Roll had just opened up his new bar on Broadway. So we went in
Yep.
and I mean, that was just amazing how they each have their own unique like theme and feel to it.
Yep.
And some of them have different levels too, where, on the first floor, they may be playing old country. Second level, they're playing new country. Third level, they're playing hip hop music,
Mhm.
you name it, you can find anything. So Jelly Rolls was really cool. We went to Morgan
Okay.
Wallen's bar.
Yep.
As far as having a favorite though, I don't know. I'm just there to have a good time and just to see everything. And it was a new experience for me. So I'm not sure that there's like a favorite that I'm like, okay, I could spend, my every weekend here, but
Mhm.
definitely was a cool experience altogether.
Oh, no question. I definitely will have to check Jelly Rolls out the next time I'm in
Yeah.
Nashville. I have not checked that out yet, but Blake Shelton's, Kid Rock's,
Oh yeah.
Morgan Wallen's, Tootsie's as well, which is my favorite because I just like the rooftop of Tootsie's
Oh
where you can sit up
yes.
at the top. But with pretty much all the bars down there in Nashville have it, but I just like the fact that they have a nice little rooftop. You just oversee that. It's so dope. I love it. Um, let's talk about your day to day.
Yeah.
As we spoke about it before, journalists don't ever have 2 days that are the same. Every day, every week is different. You're doing something different. Talk to me about your schedule because when you get into this business, you can be working all kinds of times. You can be working overnight. You can be working morning to night. You can be working afternoon to night. You can be working weird days. You get weird days off at times. You know what I mean? Because
Oh
sometimes you
yeah.
may have to work the weekend. Talk to me about your day to day now, and how you get stories, how many stories you have to do a day, being that transition from going to Chattanooga to Nashville to a bigger market.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'll tell you, ever since I started in news, I have worked weekends. And I'll tell you too a little bit about my journey as far as where I started and kind of what that schedule was like, and then kind
Yeah,
of
let's
where I'm
do it.
at now. So I started as a producer. In fact, like straight out of college, I was like, oh, I don't know if my resume looks good enough. I had some elements to put on the resume or to make a short little reel, but I was very nervous about applying. And my husband actually had encouraged me apply for the best station in Chattanooga. You're gonna get it. Just go for it. So
Yeah,
that was some of the best advice. I applied, I got the job, and I had applied as a producer first because I wanted to see the inner workings of the newsroom first, learn all of that, learn how to produce. Um, that just kind of gives you a base level entry into the industry. It
right.
kind of helps you, get to know anything and everything you would need to know. So
Absolutely.
I started producing within about anywhere from like 6 to 8 months. I'll have to go back and look exactly what month I started, but they gave me the opportunity to start anchoring, which is very, very rare. That's something to go from straight out of college, producing for 6 to 8 months, and then all of a sudden you're anchoring. I kind of looked at them like, I think we skipped a step here. Are you sure? So we laughed about that, and they
Right.
said, "Oh, we're sure. Like you have a very dynamic personality. We can tell that you're a hard worker and that you kind of already have that presence and awareness that's needed for anchoring." And so, obviously, sometimes in the industry, you have a mass exodus, is what we call it, of people leaving that station to go somewhere else. That's
Sure.
just part of the industry. People sign 2-year contracts and they move on after that, and they work their way to a top 20 market if they want.
Right.
And so that was kind of how I got that anchoring gig. Was we had a mass exodus and we needed people to kind of be willing to do any job. So I started anchoring, and with that kind of came the reporting, and
Okay.
always worked weekends. I started doing, it's mostly what I've done has been Wednesday through Sunday. So I get Mondays and Tuesdays off work, which is wonderful.
Right.
If you are, trying to consider, okay, my news director has told me, do you mind to work weekends? What days do you need to have off? Honestly, if you have to do like scheduled doctor's appointments, if you need to do, haircuts, whatever it is that are
The
normal.
weekdays are much better to have off. No
Right,
question.
right. And so Mondays and Tuesdays, you're like, oh, I can get everything done that I need to.
Yep.
And, so for the weekend, those places aren't open usually. So that helps. So when I started producing straight out, I was doing weekends. When I started anchoring, I started doing weekend mornings, and then I was doing weekend nights. And then reporting was mostly during the week, like that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I would report, but on
Okay.
weekends I would anchor. So
Okay.
that's kind of the how that went. Now, here in Nashville, things are a little bit different. And I'll tell you this because in a smaller market, in Chattanooga, we were in the 80s somewhere. Sometimes you jump around in schedules. Somebody calls off, you have to fill in if there's
Right.
less staff in a smaller market. There just is. So there was one time in one week, my Wednesday through Sunday. Wednesday, I worked a dayside shift, which is like a 9:30 to 6:30 standard shift.
Yeah, business hours.
Yes, business hours. But then my Thursday and Friday, we had one of our early morning anchors call out. So they had me anchor early morning. So I switched from 9:30 to 6:30 to do 3 a.m. till noon.
Ooh.
So that was crazy. But then my standard role in the weekends was anchoring nightside, 3 p.m. till midnight. So within
Okay.
one Wednesday through Sunday, I worked all 3 shifts.
Wow.
I'll tell you, you don't want to do that every single week because
No.
that messes up your sleep schedule. We did it
Mm-mm.
though. We were successful. We did fine. And I was happy to help in any way I could. But, you definitely got to take care of yourself after that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, here in Nashville, I am still working weekends, which I'm actually so excited about. I'm
Yeah.
I love the weekends. And I'm doing Wednesday through Sunday again, and I'm strictly early morning. So my typical schedule now will look like 3 a.m. till noon, Wednesday through Sunday. And it's also a bit different because here in Nashville, I'm doing a whole lot of live shots. And that's something I did a little bit of in Chattanooga. I had plenty of opportunity to do that. In fact, my last time on air in Chattanooga before I made this move was a live shot out at the interstate with some crazy construction and backups and things. But coming to Nashville, for the morning show, they're very big on like show and tell. What
Absolutely.
what can we send you out and make it very active for the morning show? And so lots of live shots, mostly live VOSOTs, if you're familiar with that, instead of like producing all of these investigative packages like I did in
Yep.
Chattanooga. Now I'm kind of getting to, as I'm learning, just work on a few live VOSOTs and kind of doing like a shorter, condensed version of stories. And
Yep.
they said hopefully at some point once I'm learning and growing that we'll kind of make that transition back to like the big investigative package pieces. So I'm looking forward to that. But for now, I'm excited just to relax and get in the groove and learn their protocols. So that's where I'm
Absolutely.
at. I hope I answered your question all right.
You did. You did.
Okay,
I love
good.
that answer, Maggie. I really do. I love that. And listen, the fact is, I'll re-clarify for everybody. So a VOST is voice over sound on tape. So that's what that means. That's what a VOST is what she was talking about there, which for those that are in college or those that are going to be graduating, you guys know exactly what that is. It's basically you have something that is on tape that's filming and it's a voiceover. You're speaking over it. So that's what basically that means. I want to also ask you that 3 a.m. that got to be brutal at times. I mean, that waking up, you probably wake up at what 1:30 in the
Yeah,
morning,
one
maybe.
o'clock.
So what time do you go to bed?
That's a great question. I'm still trying to figure that out too. I know it's just part of it. And so but I do have friends that have worked this shift. And so I've gotten a
Okay.
lot of good advice.
Yeah.
Um, when I was consistently doing 3 a.m. till noon, I tried to just group all of my sleep, go to bed at like 5 or 6 p.m., and then sleep, my full 8 hours, and then wake up, get ready, go to work. And then after you get off, you stay up for a few hours until you're ready to go to bed again.
Yeah.
I figured it was very difficult for me to just go to bed at 5 or 6 p.m. Even if I was tired, it's still sunlight outside, you're still it was hard for me. So I actually talked with one of my friends. She's a morning anchor in Columbia, South Carolina, and she does that
Okay.
same schedule. And she told me, it might not always be the healthiest thing to do, but you got to find what works for you. But what she likes to do is split her sleep schedule. So she'll get off of work at noon and she'll go and she'll take, a 3, 4 hour nap. And then she'll wake up and she'll have dinner with her husband and, be able to get some laundry done and do those things. And then she'll go back to bed for another, maybe 3 or 4 hours right before, but it's kind of like a later go to bed time, maybe going to bed
Sure.
around, 10 or 11 p.m. And, then she gets up and goes to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it depends on what's best for you. I have tried a little bit of both. Like I said, going to bed at 5 is difficult for me, so I kind of favor the split sleep schedule. So I'm kind of testing
Yeah.
it out right now.
Absolutely. Please let me know how that goes for you, Maggie,
I
as we
will.
embark into that for sure. No question about that. It's a great segue, though, and that's what I want to talk about mental health and work
Yes.
life balance. As you know, being in this industry, many journalists have stepped away from this because of mental health struggles. And that's totally fine, totally okay.
Yes.
People have stepped away because of work life balance. Because in this industry, news never stops, sports never stops. And it's a lot of times where people miss out on things: graduations, celebrations, family time, just friend time, hanging out with your friends. I know I've lost a couple friends. Let's say, hey, Chris, I want you to come to the bar and turn up with us. Well, hell yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to go and turn up with you at the bar, but I can't because I got this sports game, right? Because
Yeah,
sports are nights and weekends, and I got to work, I got to cover it, I got to do what I got to do because this is what I love to do. Talk to me about how you keep your mental health strong but also still have that work life balance because you are a wife, right? You do have friends, you are a daughter, you have family, but you also need some Maggie time to yourself too. And you're trying to do the job that's your dream, that's your career. So talk to me about how you keep your mental health strong, but still have that work life balance.
for sure. It is one of the number one things in the industry, like you mentioned, of why people leave because it's stressful. And a lot of times you're dealing with, I mean, not only tight deadlines, but you're dealing with stories that can be difficult subject matter. It's a lot of the things that make the news are wars, they're fires, they're car accidents, lots of doom and gloom and people dying, and those are important stories to tell. And but it's just not, you can't go into an industry like this thinking that it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows and you know covering the newest baby penguin at the zoo. It's just not that. And so I think
Correct.
it is important that when you are off work, you are able to take a step back. At least for me. Some people, I don't know how they do it. I could not do this, but a lot of people, they're constantly, um, it's important to stay informed and to stay up to
Right,
date on the latest news, but there are people that even on their off days, they're still plugged into the newsroom. For
right.
me, I am, trying to step away, still stay informed, still be caught up. I don't think I'm going to miss too much in 2 days, though. It's so important, though, in that time off, work on yourself as far as mental health goes. That could be going to therapy. Therapy
Yep.
is something that you should not be afraid of. It has helped so many people. I've been there and done that in the past. To just be able to talk about your week, to talk about what you're struggling with, if you are, and if you're not struggling, therapy is still great. It's still just an ear that listens to you and checks in on you, and that's great to have. Another thing that I think you should do is taking the time to actually get some good sleep on your days off. Um,
Mm,
because a lot of times during the week, you're go, go, go. Maybe you don't sleep too well. Maybe you miss one sleep cycle, and then that can determine your entire week. Well, if you don't catch up on your sleep in your off days, then that week of bad sleep turns into 2 weeks of bad sleep. And
no
that's
question.
so bad for your mental health. I've
Right.
been there, so I've done it all. I've done all the bad things, is why I can say that don't do it.
Absolutely.
Another thing is right now, I'm kind of in what I call my year of yes. I obviously don't want to over exhaust myself, but
Sure.
for like 3 years that I was in news in Chattanooga, I was so exhausted from producing, anchoring, reporting, doing digital, all the jobs that I had to do. I was so exhausted that at the end of the workday, I would come home and just sit on my couch, go to bed. I didn't really hang out with friends. Obviously, I saw my husband, but he was exhausted from work too. And so I felt like I kind of became a homebody of sorts. And that is totally fine. You want to be a homebody, be a homebody. There are
Sure.
definitely days that I'm still doing that. But this year and starting a new job in a new city, I really wanted to focus on, okay, I may be a little bit tired. Let's get a quick nap in, but let's not sacrifice my relationships with my friends or, a spending time with my family. I want to be able to go and do things outside of that because you've got to have that work-life balance. So
Absolutely.
It's called balance for a reason because it's kind of like you're juggling all these things and you've got to have the good balance. Listen to your body. If your body's telling you you need to go home and get some rest, get some rest. If your body's telling you, um, I'm super sad today for some reason, then, find someone to talk to. And maybe journal. I love journaling. That was one of the big things that helped with my mental health was journaling. Um,
Okay.
it kind of gives you some time to decompress and reflect. And oftentimes, just writing it out made me feel better. I had this like weight lifted off my shoulders. So I think it's a little bit of everything, but you got to find what works best for you. You just have to be in tune with your body, more so than just, I think personally, if you're working a 9 to 5 desk job, you get off work, you're not going to be bothered. You kind of just move on, you go get dinner,
Yep.
you do your laundry. I feel
Routine.
with news, your phone is always on. I mean, you are constantly getting phone calls and updates, and
Yep.
there's a plane flying overhead. Sorry, it was very loud. But it's one of those things where you kind of have to filter that out and listen to yourself and find what works for you.
No, I love that. I really love that answer. Maggie, I don't think we're 100% ever going to have like it pat down. Like, you know what I mean? Like work-life balance and mental health. I don't think we're ever going to have it 100% under control. We're just going to do the best that we possibly can. But this is a question worth asking because, people that want to come into this industry, it's a beautiful industry to get into, but you have to know the A side and the B side. And the A
Exactly.
side is what we talked about, right? Storytelling, being an advocate, being a pillar in your community, doing different stories. That's the exciting part and learning new things. But the B side is that you do have days where they're long. You do miss some events. You do miss time with your family. Sometimes I'm sure that you've had a lot of days where you've been walking and passing with your husband.
Oh,
Hey dear.
yes.
And then you guys are going to sleep and barely seeing each other because of y'all schedules, right?
Mhm.
And that could be tough on a marriage unless you have that understanding between each other, which is great. That's awesome. But for those that want to get in this industry, they have to understand that you can't have one foot in, one foot out. You got to have both feet in. And if you want to do this, it's great to do it, but you got to be committed and you got to know everything as well that could possibly happen
Yeah.
in your life.
Exactly. Exactly. In fact, just last week, my husband was getting off at work at 7 a.m. and I was going into work, and
See?
we didn't even pass each other in the house. We passed each other on the interstate. And so
Right,
we had called, we both had about an hour long commute. So when he got off and I was in the car, then we talked on the phone. And
right.
as we passed each other, we just said, "Oh, there's your car. I see it driving by. Have a great day."
Absolutely.
It's all about, really that work-life balance is falls back on communication too, specifically with relationships. Um, it's hard. It's hard, especially I've noticed a lot of people in the news industry often have long distance relationships, and that just adds an extra layer.
You
And
ain't lying on that one. Yeah,
oh,
no
yes.
doubt.
And so it's all about communication. We're technically in our field communication experts, but when work communication is kind of weighing down, you have to, build up that relationship communication, your real human interaction communication, and
Yeah.
really have conversations with your spouse, with your boyfriend or girlfriend, with your family.
Mhm.
I make phone calls. That is my thing. I am, okay, call my mom, call my grandma, call my
Yep.
husband. It's all about just, staying in touch. You can't just, you know, disassociate from everything. And like you said, it's all in. I mean, you have to be all in. And when you're working during your work hours, it is, I don't even know the correct word for it, but other than to say all in, just how you described.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, absolutely. That was one of the things that I kind of struggled with my mental health when I first got into this industry.
Mhm.
with relationships. Definitely friendships, telling my friends no, I can't do this and no, because they're always asking me to do things. Trying to see about dating or, having a girlfriend or something like that was just very tough, because you will go to a dinner and then you'll get a call,
Yeah,
or you go to a lunch and you get a call, or you just don't know when it's an appropriate time to ask someone out because you're getting off at midnight at
yeah,
12 o'clock on a Tuesday while everybody else is sleeping, right? And then
exactly.
you have off Wednesday, Thursday in the weekdays, which is great, as you said, for doctor's appointments and all those kind of things on the weekdays. But as far as hanging out goes, nobody really hangs out on Wednesdays, right? People do it
That's
on
true.
evenings and weekends. So it was tough at first to do that, but then I had to learn to realize that it's real. I had to learn to realize that talking to likewise people like yourself, that's reporters, there's also people that's in this field is a lot better because
Yeah,
not only do I get to learn about them, learn about their why, but also being able to share stories and being able to relate to each other because we can relate to working a 3 a.m. to a noon shift or a 3 p.m. to a midnight shift, which most sports people do. They work
yeah,
afternoons to evenings, and news people work very early in the morning to the
yeah.
afternoon. So it's just having those likewise people around that has helped me out for sure.
Exactly. The big message is you are not alone in this. It
Yeah.
is it is an industry-wide struggle.
Yeah.
And so to be able to have a community that lifts each other up and you can kind of laugh about those things or, cry together and, be exhausted together, but at the same time just knowing that you're not alone in this. It's a good feeling to have, and that's wonderful that you're bringing attention to that.
I appreciate that, Maggie. I do. We have now reached the portion of the podcast, and now we're going to play my interactive game called This or That. So it's a
Okay.
game I like to play with all of my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, and it's pretty simple. You get to choose this or that after I throw a few things at you. So, Maggie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. You being a Southern girl, I'm thinking that this one's going to be obvious, but let me see. Out of these two restaurants, which restaurant would you rather choose, KFC or Popeyes?
Oh no, those are both great. I'm gonna say Popeyes.
I figured that. I figured you would. Well, being from the South, I mean, Popeyes is a Louisiana thing, but I'm sure they have plenty of in Tennessee. That's for
Oh
sure.
yes.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Out of these two flavors, which flavor would you rather put on the chicken wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Lemon pepper all the way.
Okay. Now, out of that, would you like to have your wings wet or dry?
Ooh, I like both. I'm gonna go wet.
Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Controversial one. I'm a boneless gal.
I know you like the meat. I like that. Now, are you a dipper? Are you somebody that eats with a fork and dips it into the sauce?
If they're boneless, yes. But if they're bone in, then I'll hold it. I don't mind.
That's what I'm talking about, girl. Get messy with it. That's what I like. Then I like a woman that can get messy with some wings. That means you definitely could watch some sports, get messy with some wings, and also
Oh
be able
yeah,
to have a cold beverage as well. Uh,
exactly.
That's something that I love. I love that. Okay, okay. Let me ask you this. These next five questions that I have for you, these next five questions, okay, are going to be questions that we have on music concerts.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
so here we go. All right. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Casey Musgraves or Carrie Underwood?
Casey Musgraves.
Okay, you was pretty decisive on that one. Here we
I've
go.
seen her before. She was great.
Yes, and Casey Musgraves definitely can sing. Carrie Underwood can too, but Casey Musgraves is so beautiful. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, such a beautiful. Anywho, I digress. Sorry. Which
I love
music
it.
which music concert would you rather go to? Luke Combs or Morgan Wallen?
Ooh, I've seen both of them.
Mhm.
Morgan just released some new music, so I'll say Morgan Wallen.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would probably say Morgan Wallen as well. So yeah, we're two for two so far. Here we go.
Love it.
Which music concert would you rather go see? I'm gonna switch it up. You rather go see Beyonce or Rihanna?
Oh man, I love both too.
Mm-hmm.
I know Beyonce's concerts have been in the news a lot recently with all of the
Absolutely.
Cowboy Carter stuff. So I think I'm gonna go Queen Bee. That's what I'm gonna
Okay.
do.
I love it. I love it. Okay. I like that answer a lot. Here we go. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see, I would say, Taylor Swift, or would you rather see Ariana Grande?
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift for sure.
Okay. Are you a Swiftie?
This is controversial too. No, I'm just kidding. So I do really like Taylor Swift. My mom and my sister are mega fans. Love Taylor Swift. I was never as mega of a fan as them, but I still love Taylor. If that
Okay.
answers your question. I can't say I'm
That
a
does.
Swiftie because I feel
That
like
does.
people have different definitions.
Well, listen, I found out what a Swiftie was myself when I went on my cruise last October. She was doing some shows in Miami. The whole
Yeah.
flight was pretty much going to Taylor Swift concert. I sat next to two ladies that paid $1,700 each to go see Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That they must have lost their rabbit, you know what, mind. Because ain't no way in the world I ain't about to be paying no 1,700 to see no Taylor Swift.
Oh,
I didn't even
no.
want to pay $12 to go see it in the theater, but I did. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Okay. So, but I digress once again. Here we go. Last of the music concerts. I'm gonna switch it up. Which music concert would you rather go to? Drake or Kendrick Lamar?
Ooh, I'm gonna go Kendrick Lamar. We know that there's controversy there too, but I'm really liking Kendrick's music recently.
Girl, I don't. Girl, you on point like a period right now. I'm tell you that right
Good.
now. You are doing your thing. Okay, I like it. Here we go. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Would you rather watch baseball or hockey?
Ooh, hockey for sure.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Your eyes lit up when pretty
Yes.
much when I said that. I like that. It's pretty cool.
See,
Which
we
sport?
have the Preds here in Nashville, so I've got to go with hockey. Baseball, while I like going to a stadium and watching it in person on
Yeah,
TV, I think it's a little bit boring.
I can understand. I can understand that. Listen, you don't have to convince me of that at all. I love baseball in person. I do
Yeah.
like seeing the Preds in person. Being here in Minnesota now, the Wild, absolutely crazy. Love watching
Oh,
the Minnesota
yes.
Wild for sure. Okay. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Ooh, I've never played badminton, but I feel like it would be fun. I'm gonna go out on a whim and say badminton.
Okay. Well, listen, it's the birdie and the racket involved,
Yes.
and you just hit the birdie over the net. I think you'll be terrific in that. I think you'll be
Let's
pretty
do it.
good.
That's
Now,
great.
are you a good bowler?
No, that's why I had to say not bowling.
I like how you looked up when you said that. You looked up and thought about it for a second. You're like, that ain't it. That's not my sport. Okay, I feel it. Do you need the bumpers?
Yes.
Oh hell no, Maggie.
Oh,
You can't
no.
get. Oh no, we can't do no bowling. Badminton it is. Okay, here we
Yes.
go. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from that one. Okay, here we go. Do you like desserts?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so I'm gonna name four categories of desserts. You got to choose one of these that you'll never eat again.
Okay.
So here we go. First one is ice cream.
Mm.
The next one is candy. The next category is cookies. The last category is cake slash pie. So they group together.
Ooh,
Which one are
okay.
you getting rid of?
I'm gonna get rid of I'm gonna get rid of ice cream. I love sour candy, so I can't get rid of that.
Okay.
I love crumble cookies, so I can't get
Okay.
rid of cookies. And then probably my favorite dessert of all time is like cheesecake. I
I
love
knew it.
pie, like key lime pie. So even though I still love ice cream, I could probably do without it if I had to.
Listen, you're a Southern Belle for a reason. I knew you wasn't
Yes,
gonna get rid of cake and pies. I knew
that's
that,
right.
but I was a little thrown off with the ice cream. Not gonna lie about that, but I like that though. I like it. It's different. What's your
Yeah.
favorite cookie?
Mm. I love a good, I mean, we mentioned crumble. I love crumble cookie. I would say if they're gonna do like a Kentucky butter cake cookie or like even their classic chocolate chip is good. But I like that, or anything with like a fruit in it. That sounds weird, but they do fruit cookies and with like a cream cheese icing. I'll do some of those. I just like cookies in general.
Yeah, absolutely. The Great American Cookie. I don't know if you're familiar with that company,
Yes, I
but
am.
absolutely, I do love those kind. But just to be a little different, I'm gonna say gingerbread is one of my favorites.
Love, yes.
Yes, a warm gingerbread cookie is very good. Do you like potato chips?
Love potato chips. Yeah.
Okay, so same format, Maggie. I'm
Okay.
gonna throw four brands at you. You got to choose one of these. You'll never eat again. So here we
Okay.
go. First one is Doritos. The second one is Lay's. The third one is Ruffles. The last one is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of?
I'm gonna get rid of the Pringles. I really love Lay's, but I also like Ruffles and Doritos are just they're one of the best. So
Girl, I don't think we're gonna have a problem eating at all. You like
uh,
wings, you like chips, you like girl, and we can go anywhere. I'm telling you, that is what's up. I love that. That is amazing. I would have got rid of Pringles too. No
okay,
question
good.
about that. Ruffles sour cream and cheddar is the greatest chip ever made.
Yes. Oh, I love those. Those are great.
Now, well, what's your favorite chip?
Ooh, okay. I like if I could do like a buffalo cheese it, that sounds really weird, but they make those now. Those are probably my favorite. If you consider Cheez-Its chips.
A buffalo cheese it.
Yes.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna have to Wikipedia that. I don't think I've ever
Oh
heard of
yeah.
that before.
Oh, they're great. They're wonderful.
Okay, I promise you, I will buy some. I'm gonna try it. You're gonna be the first person I tell. That's for sure.
There we
Okay.
go.
I did run into somebody that did say that they eat chips with applesauce, like
Interesting.
actual Lay's chips with applesauce.
Okay, I
Um,
won't do applesauce, but I'll do pickles, like dill pickles. I'll do like a chicken salad sandwich with, you know, pickles and regular plain Ruffles potato chips. You can put a little
okay.
pickle slice on your potato chip and eat it that way.
Yeah, I'm haven't been bold yet to try the chips and applesauce yet. I did tell her though that I would, and I would let her know, but I haven't been bold enough yet. Fun fact, I have never had pickles in my life.
Wow. Okay. They're not for everybody. And
You
of course,
know,
you've got different kinds. So I love
right.
pickles though.
Okay, yeah, so does my mother too. I think both of y'all are crazy, but that's
Yeah.
okay. That's all right. That's totally fine. You did pretty good on this or that. Did really good. I want to ask this next question, especially with you being a reporter. That is a top four. Give me a bucket list of events or stories, a top four of what you would like to do in your journalism career.
Oh, that's a big one too. I like very interactive stories. So anything to do with I'm trying to think like if there was hurricane coverage, I would absolutely love to,
Wow.
at some point, obviously a hurricane is a natural disaster that you don't want to be a part of, but as far as the importance of something like that,
Yeah.
um, I would love to be if I ever had the opportunity to go to wherever it was, New Orleans or go to Florida somewhere or East Coast hurricane, Texas hurricane, anywhere. I would love the opportunity, I think, for to share that important information of like hurricane coverage.
That's
Same thing
amazing.
with like wildfire coverage. Obviously, like places like California and things like that have
Yep.
um, some pretty terrible wildfires, over the years. And so when you say events, I'm thinking like, okay, yes, there's also events like the Grammys or
Yep.
CMA Fest and stuff like that that would be super neat to dress up and go to, but from a journalistic perspective, probably something like a hurricane, a natural disaster of some kind. I think that that is it's very active. It's very informative. It's keeping people safe. That type of journalism is what I'm drawn to. Also love sports, which I know you can relate to this. If I was
Absolutely.
to go to like March Madness or the World Series or Super Bowl or something like that, that would also be just phenomenal.
Absolutely. I can definitely give you some tips about the Super Bowl, seeing that I just covered that this past year. That was an absolutely amazing experience being in New Orleans.
So
I mean,
cool.
the food was just terrific. I mean, we'll probably have to talk offline with what all went down. That's for
Love it.
sure. But for sure, it was a great time. Such a great learning experience too, because you get to meet so many media people, so many
Yes,
athletes. You get to rub, shoulders with them, and I passed out a lot of business cards to be able to just network, which is so great. And they called it Media Row, and it really is. It's a whole convention center of literal tables and media people all around, and it's really really big time. Now, while you were saying your list, I was thinking about the Country Music Awards because it happens there in Nashville every single year.
yes.
So I'm thinking you would look amazing on the red carpet. And
Well,
with your
thank you.
personality, I think you would be able to talk, ask some questions, maybe even get some stories out of some individuals that might not, be able to, that won't tell them on an everyday basis. I think you would do a
Exactly.
tremendous on that.
Well, thank you. I hope to do that one day.
I hope to see you. I hope to see you there too. That'd be amazing for sure. This next question has to do with advice. We talked about advice you would give, but what is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
Biggest piece of advice for the world of journalism: be yourself. This is something that I was taught from the moment I started anchoring. I sought out some of the most experienced anchors that I could that were in my area. And
Okay.
I said, here's my stuff. Can you watch it and tell me, what do I need to change? What do I need to do? And they specifically told me, do not try to mold yourself into what you think a reporter looks like, what a reporter sounds like. You know,
Right.
you need to be yourself. The whole point of the news, in my opinion, is supposed to be, obviously, it's professional, but it's also supposed to be informative and
Yes.
relatable.
Without question.
And
Yes.
so if you're out there and you're talking totally different than what you talk in your everyday normal voice, then there might be something a little bit that doesn't feel as relatable with that. If
Authentic,
you're,
right?
yeah, if you're on TV and you're a super animated person, but in your day-to-day life, you're not, it's like, okay, is it going to come across as relatable to an
Right.
audience that's watching at home? And
Right.
so throughout my career, that has been the one piece of advice that I take away with me, hold very dear, that I got was, don't try to be something that you're not. Be yourself, and people are going to love you. People are going to trust you because you're being genuine.
I love that advice. And even to piggyback off that, I think that that's absolutely correct. You should definitely find yourself. It's real easy to emulate people because you see
Yeah,
them at a certain status and you want to be there. But also understand with that what comes with that being of yourself, there are times where people are not gonna like you. And you got to
very
have some
true.
thick skin. You got to have some thick skin in this industry, right? Because being yourself, being authentic, being relatable, there's people that are going to find things. There's trolls that's going to find things about you. There's been people on here, Maggie, that's been on my platform that said that they've gotten emails about the way they dress, their hair looks, the way they talk, the way they walk. And these are like emails people send in. And I'm like, my gosh, why do people even care like that? Like, what's going on? Like, oh, this person's wearing the same dress over and over again or the same outfit. Like it's crazy to even
It
think that
is.
that happens. But then again, you know, the world we live in, those things do happen. So I definitely love the fact that you stated about being yourself, being relatable, finding your voice. Those things are absolutely true. But also have to understand that, yeah, being that sometimes people are just not going to like you for no damn reason at all.
Exactly. And I've experienced that too. It
Yep.
happens. It's something that journalists can bond over, I think, because
No question.
sadly, it happens to pretty much everyone, especially being a female in the industry. You
Yep.
know, there's lots of questions about hair, makeup, clothing, but also things that can be very damaging about your weight, about how you
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's something that you kind of you have to realize that people are very, very, they say things when they can hide behind a computer screen that normally
No
they
question.
wouldn't say to you to your face.
No
And
question.
so you just have to tune it out. In fact, going back to mental health, seeing those comments are not going to improve your mental health. So if you do start getting those comments from a specific person, maybe they're sending them every day or once a week, just block them. I think that that's important. Obviously, I want my viewers to have opinions about the stories that I'm doing. I don't ever want to filter something or, try to censor something. That's not my job. Everyone's
Right.
entitled to their own opinion, but when it
Absolutely.
comes to something disrespectful or very offensive towards me, or towards other people in the comments, or I don't stand for that. I'm gonna block it. I'm gonna delete it. If it's something hurtful and offensive, we don't do that here. We want to
Immediately.
spread kindness and awareness, while also giving people the right to their own opinion. So,
Absolutely. I love that. Well said on that. Bonus question that just came up in my mind, and that's dealing with hard news.
yeah.
How often did you take hard news stories home with you? And how were you able to deal with that? Because for me, Maggie, it's one of the reasons why I shied away from hard news and went to sports. And not to say sports don't have hard news stories, because they do. There's winners, there's losers. And people lose and they cry. Their season ends and it's over, and losing sucks. Nobody wants to lose, but you do go into the game realizing that there is a 50-50 chance that you may lose into the game. But you don't think about that with life, of losing
Yeah.
your life like that, right? Talk to me about how did you deal with hard news stories, and how often did you take them home with you? What kind of advice would you
Yeah.
give to people like that?
I mean, the thing is we're not robots. Some people think that they don't actually think, but they kind of have this, impression of the news lady, the lady that's on my TV, like she doesn't have real emotions, like she's just repeating things that were written for her, or whatever. Obviously,
Right.
that's not the case. We're real humans with real emotions. And so those hard stories, they do stay with you. I think it's important, and this goes back to what I said about the mental health, that you are talking through that you are decompressing, that that you're journaling about it, if that's what helps you. I think for me, I don't shy away from those stories because there's a certain emotional aspect to it that can be relatable to everybody. I did a
Okay.
story recently on a woman who lost her daddy, and her dad had been riding a bicycle down the side of the road, and he got hit by a car, and it was a hit and run, and he passed
Wow.
away. And this young lady didn't shy away from an interview. She wanted to tell her dad's story. She wanted to advocate for safety, roadway safety for people on bikes, for people driving. Come to find out, the toxicology report and everything, the woman, I guess, eventually had been found. She admitted to police that she was on drugs or under the influence of some kind when she did the hit and
Sure.
run.
Sure.
And so there was a lot of emotions in this story. But what you've got to understand as a journalist is, okay, this is really tough subject matter. We're talking about drugs and alcohol. We're talking about people dying.
Right.
Talking about a daughter who misses her dad and had a close relationship with him. But I think what you have to remind yourself is that that person's story is unique in its own, but at the same time, they're not alone in that. And so
Mm.
for this woman to be willing to share her story with other people out there, maybe someone watched the news that night and said, you know what? I've lost my dad or I've lost my grandparent to something similar to this. May not be exact,
Right.
but to put her raw emotion on there and to show other people you're not alone in this. I think that right there is what's powerful about tragic stories. Um, Knowing what's going on in your community, if you don't have a platform to or a voice to put your story out on a platform, nobody else is going to realize that they're not alone in something either. So the same as I'm not alone in receiving negative comments from people and other journalists experience that too, I think it's
Right.
important to realize like tragic things happen. The reason we cover them in news is to keep you informed about what's happening in your area and
Yep.
to truly show that you're not alone in this and there are other people going through this. And also just to help those people. A lot of times they're going to have like a GoFundMe. They've lost their entire home in a hurricane. They're going to have a GoFundMe. You're going to, be able to give them a platform to seek out help or get resources, access to things that maybe they didn't know about before. So to sum all that up, you're gonna cover it, but you've got to keep those in mind. I think that you have to know your why. And that circles back around to the beginning of our interview is you have to know, why am I doing this? What is the bottom line? Um, and so if you know your why, when you come home from covering a terrible, terrible circumstance, you can say, yes, okay, this was hard. Maybe there's some things I didn't want to hear. Maybe there's some things I didn't want to see, but
Right.
I did this for a reason, and that reason is important. So that's that.
Wow. And listen, you gave great answers all conversation long. That's definitely the best answer you gave, no question about that. And you're absolutely right. Again, it's a question worth asking because news reporters have all said that it's very difficult to deal with hard news stories. Some people cry, some people journal, some people go home, have a glass of wine, some people do all different kind of things to deal with it. I know for me shying away from it, it was like, yeah, it would have been tough for me to stick a microphone in a mom's face of somebody of child killing or house burning or something tragic, because you want to give them grace, but you also want to show empathy, but you also have a job to do, right? We have to be an advocate for the people. We have to get this information so that people can see what's going on in their neighborhoods and stuff like that. But I mean, what a terrific answer, Maggie. That was
Thank you.
just great. That was really, really good. I'm gonna get you out of here on rapid fire. Okay, so
Okay.
we're gonna lighten up the mood a little bit. We're gonna get rapid fire, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you some questions, and the first thing that comes to your mind, you just shout it out with glee. Okay, so here
Okay.
we go. Pancakes or waffles?
Waffle.
You said what?
Waffle.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute, is that a combination of a word? I didn't even know. I was like,
You said
oh,
shout it
okay.
out fast. I shouted it out fast.
You did.
Waffles.
You did. Waffles. I like that. Okay. Chicken or ribs?
Chicken.
Okay. Red or blue?
Mm, I'm terrible. I like both. I'm gonna say purple. We combine red and blue, we make purple.
They did. They did. I can't even be mad about that because that's the first time anybody's ever said that. So I can't even be mad. I'm gonna let that slide. Purple. Okay, here we go. Favorite Netflix TV series?
Um, the Vampire Diaries.
Are you talking about with like Klaus and Stefan and Damon?
Damon?
Them?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Got you. Got you. Awesome. Favorite board game?
Candyland.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Favorite card game?
Uno.
I'm a monster in that game, girl. I hit you with that draw four real quick now. I'm just
I
saying.
love it.
Okay, I like it. Favorite alcoholic drink?
Ooh, I like fruity drinks. I'm gonna say I'm thinking summer pina colada. There we go.
Okay. What's the difference between a regular pina colada and a summer one?
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm thinking summer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's got to
I'm
be
tripping.
summer. I'm not going to
Uh,
drink a pina colada in the winter. So, pina
I
colada in
got
summer.
you. Pina colada in summer. Okay. I'm a Hennessy guy, so I like my Hennessy. So I
Yeah.
like that. So that's pretty good. Okay. If you had a choice to choose three people to take with you on vacation, who would you take and where would you go? Now, Maggie, you could choose family, friends, or celebrities.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Obviously, my husband, number one. We have
Okay.
so much fun traveling together. I'm gonna say my sister. She's also fun to travel with.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, oh, it's so hard. One more person. I feel like I feel like either my sister needs to like bring her boyfriend so my husband's not alone, or my mom, and we just have like a girls' trip and do that. So I don't know. That's so hard. And where would we go? Um, I would love to go. I'm trying to think. Let's go to like France or Italy or something. That would be neat.
Okay. We'll do that. We'll do that. We'll roll with friends. How about we do that? We'll roll with friends. That's what's
There we
up.
go.
Now, if you had a choice to listen to three artists or three songs on repeat and never get tired of them, what three artists or three songs would you choose?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go with artists because the
Okay.
songs are hard, I think. Um, Okay, I'm gonna go. I feel like I need to pull up my Spotify or something here. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Here's one. ABBA. I'm a big Mamma Mia girl, so I love ABBA.
Wow. Okay. Taking it back. Okay.
Yes, yes. I'm also going to say, let's see. Okay. I'm very hard to decide. When it comes to music, I listen to so many different genres, so it's
Me
like,
too. Me too. I
I
feel
don't
you.
know.
But
Okay,
that
I'm
means
gonna
it's a good
say,
question, though. That means it's a
yeah.
good question.
Yeah, it is a great question.
Absolutely.
Okay, so ABBA, I'm gonna say Tame Impala. I love Tame.
Oh, the indie band. Okay. Got
Yes.
you. Okay.
And hmm, I'll pick a country. It's just so we have good variety because we've got the throwback, we've got or you've stumped me. You've really stumped me. Yeah,
Mm,
let's do like Morgan Wallen or something. We'll throw some
okay.
country in there. That way we have some
Okay.
variety.
I like that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, which sport would you play that you would absolutely dominate in?
Ooh, golf. I'm a golf girl.
Okay. All right. What's your handicap?
Honestly, honestly, it's been a minute, but usually I just play with my family and friends. And so I'm just
Now,
out
hold
there to
on.
have
Are we
fun
talking
most of the
about
time.
regular golf or mini golf?
Regular golf.
Okay, I just want to make sure because
Yes.
you might be a beast in both. I don't know.
I don't know, because mini golf is all putting. And so, that's one of the hardest things I think about golf in general is putting and
It
angles and,
is.
trying to, how fast is it going to roll down this dip? So that's the
Right.
hardest part. So
Okay. Okay. Now, which sport would you play that you would absolutely suck in?
ooh, probably. Well, we established that bowling was not my thing, but
Hmm.
I'm probably gonna say baseball. I don't have great hand-eye coordination, so I may be able to swing the and hit the golf ball, but if there was a ball coming at me and I had to swing it and hit it with a bat, I think I would miss every time. And if I was out in the outfield having to catch, I probably wouldn't catch the ball. I would miss it somehow.
I
It would
feel
fall out of my glove.
I feel that. So if the ball is stationary, you can hit it, but if
Yeah,
the ball is in motion, you cannot.
exactly.
Okay, I feel that. I feel that. Listen, there's a lot of people like you out there, Maggie. There's a lot of people I like there out there. Okay, here we go. Two more of the rapid fire. If they came up to you and said, Maggie, you can only do one of these for the rest of your career, anchor or report, which one would you do?
Ooh, I'm gonna say I really love both. They're both just very different though.
Hmm.
I think report, believe it or not. I think that even though anchoring is kind of seen as, to some people, kind of the pinnacle of success here, as far as, you know, you get to be on the anchor desk. It's one of the, higher paid positions.
Yeah.
You're, um, in front of the camera all the time. I really love being out in the community and hearing stories. And that's something you kind of miss out on anchoring.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
so I'm going to go reporting.
Yes, you listen. Your face is built for the camera, regardless whether you're sitting at an anchor desk or reporting. Obviously, anybody would tell you that you have a face for camera. There's no
Thank
question
you.
about that. But yes, reporting is much more active. You're much more interactive, I should say, with people, with stories. I love talking to people, so yes, I totally understand that. Last of the rapid fire. Have you ever been to Dollywood?
Oh, the last question. It hits me in the gut because I have not been to Dollywood. I have passed by Dollywood, but I would love to go. My husband's been multiple times, and he's like, I can't believe that you've lived in Tennessee this long and you've never been to Dollywood. It's on my
I, I
bucket
I
list.
second what your husband says because I'm with you on that. You're a Tennessee native. How do you not go to Dollywood?
I don't know. It just never was in the cards when we went on vacation or drove through the area, but it is
Okay.
on the top of my bucket list because I love Dolly too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Dolly Parton is a legend. I've been there, been to Dollywood once,
Yes.
but I have to ask the Tennessee native if you've been to Dollywood or not. So yes, absolutely. Okay. You did pretty good. Did it pretty good with the rapid fire. And this has been a really, really dope conversation, Maggie. Just learn about your background, where you graduated from UTC, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, going to Chattanooga as a city, being a reporter there for multiple years, now in a bigger market in Nashville, just thriving. And like I said, your passion really shows on screen, whether you're anchoring or reporting. You've done some tremendous stories, and I'm a new fan of yours. You're going to continue to do great things, and you're going to continue to look absolutely wonderful doing it. So I just want to
Thank
say
you.
thank you for allocating your time to me to come on my podcast and tell me your why and tell me your story. My last question to you is always the same. Is there anything else you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
Nothing about myself or my job. Well, two things. Here we'll say, if you're
Come
getting
on.
into the industry or in the industry, keep your head up. You've got this. You've got
Mm,
this. And
I love it.
reach out to me. I'm happy if you're going through something in this world and you need someone to talk to about it, I'm always there. So you can follow my social medias. I think everything is the same. It's at Maggie Weaver TV. So find me on every platform, reach out to me, and we'll talk. I am always open to that. And number two is about you. I am so, so thankful that there's someone here that is doing this and that is bringing awareness to all these things. I mean, this is very unique, and I can't wait to see kind of where you go from here, Chris. I think that this is wonderful. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on your podcast.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. I look forward to obviously keeping in touch with you and talking with you down the line and hopefully talking to some of your colleagues there in Nashville as well.
Yes.
You enjoy your off day and you enjoy the rest of your week. And again, you and I will definitely be in touch.
Perfect. Bye, Chris. Thank you.